Welcome to Crafty Compulsions. My name is Valerie, and I'm so glad you could join me. Today, I'll be showing you my completed coloring pages for December 2024. This was an interesting month for me. One, because it was Christmas, and there was lots of preparations to do. And two, because I spent a good 2 weeks, maybe more, sick. And unfortunately, my family was sick for the other half of the month. So it's been a little bit trying, but we are getting through it, and we were able to still have a really beautiful Christmas day and Christmas season, despite being under the weather for most of the month. So enough about that. Let's get into the coloring pages. First up, we have Cozy Christmas by Coco Wyo. This is a new book that I acquired in the month of December, and there's actually a flip through on the channel, both in a long, chatty version as well as in a short, no talking, quick version. So you can choose the type of video that suits you if you are interested in seeing more of the pages in this book. So let's see what I have done. If you've already watched the flip through, then you will have already seen my coloring. So I'll try to go not super long, but here's the opening. And I used Ohuhu alcohol markers, the Honolulu series. Title page. I like how this belongs to part is really integrated into the page. So it's nice. And I forgot to put a paper. That's all right. So here we go. More Ohuhu Honolulu alcohol markers. And I'm really happy with how this page turned out. The blues are really nice. There's no shading or blending or anything except for the fireplace. That was the one little area that I tried to do some blending. And it was my first attempt with the Ohuhu markers to do that. And I'm happy with how it turned out. Looks good. The next page is this one. Santa's working on his Santa suit. And on this page, again, there's no blending or anything. It's just the Ohuhu alcohol markers. No shading, just straight coloring. And I was really trying to work on getting a smooth finish with the markers. It is relatively easy to do in smaller spaces, but when you get to big spaces like Santa's beard or some of these drawers, it was a little bit tricky. So I still am learning to do it. I think the background turned out well. I also tried using the Uniball Signo gel pen to add some snow, but the white kind of turned light blue, being on top of the alcohol marker. So now we have this cute little page. I wanted to try out some of the purples and pinks from the Ohuhu marker set. And I tried a lighting effect, a kind of a glow around the Christmas lights in the background. And that helped break up the space a little bit. And I didn't have to be as concerned with getting a smooth finish. And yeah, I'm happy with this page. It's cute. So here's the next one I did, where I also tried to do a glowing background, and I also used the white Signo gel pen to black out the stars and the outline of the moon. And there were more stars on the page, but I chose to only highlight these ones, and the rest just kind of fade into the background. There is one that you can kind of see right there. And it was just easier for me as I was learning, and this was my second attempt with a glowing background with the Ohuhu alcohol markers. It was easier not to have the circles kind of mash into each other, whereas this one it would have. So I was just trying to keep it kind of straightforward. I did do some shading on the trees, so underneath the edges of the branches here, and there's a little bit on the beige part of the building. And I think that's about it. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. It's probably maybe my favorite page of the month. In the top 2 favorite pages of the month. And it's also a color along that's up on the channel. And it's set to music because, little side note, I had no voice that day. So that's why there's no talking in that video. And I just chose some pretty Christmas music. Here's the next one. And I did this one in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep. And I just did straight coloring, nothing fancy. But I'm still happy with how it turned out. This paper is just so wonderful to work on. And that's all the completed pages I have done in Cozy Christmas by Coco Waya. I did a page in this book, Mangatopia Tiny Kawaii by Liv Wan. This is the page I worked on. I'm going to tilt it so you can see some of the sparkle. There. So I did this delicious looking ice cream sundae. And for this one, I used Oahu alcohol markers, the Honolulu series. And I did just straight block coloring with the markers. And then I did add just a little bit of pencil shading with the Prismacolor Premier pencils. So I didn't shade with the markers at all, just added a little bit with pencils. And I really was working on the waffle cones and trying to get an effect on there. And then I just did like a little bit on the ice cream, the bowl, a little bit on the bowl. I didn't do anything on the strawberry. Some of the treats had a little bit on it. So just kind of just playing around. And then for the sprinkles, I used Oahu glitter markers. And those are really fun. I really like them. They're kind of a cross between a gel pen and a paint marker, but I'll keep working with them a little bit and then I'll share some more information about them, maybe a little video or something. But, yeah. So, Mangatopia Tiny Kawaii by Liv Wan. Okay, so here we have Mystery Mosaics, Color by Number, Dazzling Scenery by Maximus Prime. And I did a lot of pages in this book. When I was sick, I really didn't have any brain power left to do coloring. So this was a great choice for me. I still got to color and I didn't have to think about it. I just followed the color by numbers. And actually for a few days, I just was using a black and white paint pen and coloring just the black and white numbers on one page, and then I'd go on to the next one, just doing the black and white on, I must have done probably like 12 pages like that, because that's all I had. I didn't even have the brain power to pick a color. So this book was well loved this month. And then of course, leading into Christmas, I was really busy thinking about everything. And again, I just needed to put color to paper, and this was what I did. And yeah, happy that I had this book that I could work on. So in this one, I used my Artisan dual tip acrylic paint markers that I recently purchased from Amazon, and there is a video about them on the channel. And on this page, I decided to try something different. On one end of the marker, there is a brush tip, and on the other end, there's like a dot tip. So I said, I wonder if I just did dots instead of filling in the squares. And this is how it turned out. Is it something I would do again? Maybe not. Did I have fun doing this one? Yeah, it was fun to try something different. And we have this one. And I used the Artisan paint, acrylic paint markers. Again, same. I believe for the white, I used a Artist Loft paint pen, white paint pen. And this was probably Sharpies, the black part. Again, the black was Sharpie marker, and the rest was the Artisan acrylic paint markers. This was all Ohuhu alcohol markers except for the black. Again, because I had done ahead the black with a Sharpie marker. And the same thing here. I was really pleased with the finish I was able to get on this guy because that's like a huge area. So there's only a little bit of a line along the edge there. This one was Ohuhu alcohol markers for most of it, except for the white, which I used the Artist Loft white paint pen. And I put like so many coats on it. And it's almost like, it's not a pure white. It's almost like a little off-white, and it is shiny when it finishes, which is not at all like the black one, which is matte when it finishes. So for the black, I also used the Artist Loft black paint pen over top of the Sharpie, just to kind of try it. So I think I did it over here, and I did it over here with the paint pen on top of the Sharpie, just to see what it was like. I do not like those paint pens. Side note. We did this one. So the black is Sharpie. The white is the Artist Loft paint pen. Everything else is Ohuhu alcohol markers. This one really made me think of my daughter because her favorite color is blue. A jungle scene. It was nice to get into some greens. And this is the Artisan acrylic paint markers. I went back to those, except for the black. I think it's Sharpie. Sharpie for the black. And on this one, I used a combination of the Artisan acrylic paint markers and a couple of Sharpie creative markers. A new purchase that I did. If you would like more information about those, there's a video on the channel about them and trying them out. And as a follow-up, I really like kind of the finish they give. So it's the white and the dark blue. And I think the red as well. So I like them so far. I'm going to keep exploring them. On this one, the black is Sharpie, the white is Sharpie. That's the Sharpie creative markers. Sorry, the black and white is the Sharpie creative markers. And the dark blue, and I think that's it. The rest of it is the Artisan acrylic markers. So really trying to experiment with those products and see what I like. The deep orange or dark orange is starting to die. It's my first one of that set. So, and then I have others that are just the black and white. So we'll save those for another month. So that's Mystery Mosaic, Color by Number, Dazzling Scenery by Maximus Prime. And then we had to get a Teresa Goodridge page in, and I did this right at the beginning of the month. So this is Home Sweet Home. And we did this one, a very nice summery spring scene. Hadn't really started snowing where I am in Ontario yet, and this was the mood I was in. I used I used just Ohuhu alcohol markers, and I did a little bit of blending and shading. I kind of messed up on the shutters a little bit, so they look a little bit off just because I went over them again with another color. But I did do a little bit of shading on the tablecloth and some of the flowers and the grasses. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this one turned out for just using the alcohol markers. The grass is a little bit splotchy, but that's okay. I still really like the page. So that's Home Sweet Home by Teresa Goodrich. And the last book that I have to show you is Cute and Magical Coloring Book by Alexandra Frenzies. This was kind of a impulsive middle of the month purchase, and it was just to kind of top up an Amazon order that my husband was putting in. So he said, I need to add something to my Amazon order to get free shipping. And I said, oh, no problem. I can help you with that. So I picked up this book and I've colored in it a little bit. So we have this dragon was the first one I did. And a little bit of a learning curve here with the Oahu alcohol markers because this is Amazon paper. The Cocoa Wild Christmas book I had, you can get it on Amazon paper, but this is the Random House published book, so the paper is a bit nicer. So I hadn't actually used these markers on Amazon paper other than the Mystery Mosaic book. Yeah, so I did have some trouble. I was trying to do some blending and it did not go so well. So I'll just leave it at that. You know, from a distance, it still kind of looks good, but I mean, it was learning, so that's good. And this one is all unique images. It's 50 pages with all unique images. That doesn't have the duplicates at the back, so that was good. This is one of her older books, but it's the new edition. She had kind of an original edition that she updated a little bit, but it's still, she has many, many more books she's published since this one. So we have this one, Two-Headed Dog. I'm not sure if he has a specific mythical name or not, but I like how the page turned out. I used the Oahu alcohol markers. I did not do any shading. There is a little bit of built-in shading on these pages. So if I flip to this one to show you, you can see how there's just a very light shade there, just very light. So it comes through, especially on the yellow of the tennis ball and the cream of the dog bone, and a little bit on here. That was another middle of the night coloring. And the last one that I did is this one. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I used the Oahu alcohol markers. I tried to do some blending. I think I did pretty good with the fishtail and the fins. That turned out really great. The fish here, as you can see, there is kind of a sharp line, and I just couldn't do anything else to fix it. There was nothing left in the paper. But I mean, you know, it still looks okay. It doesn't look bad. I used Uniball Signo gel pen for around the bubbles and the little highlights. There's some on the cuff and the gems as well. The gems, oh, and the tail. And actually, I went over some of it with something kind of odd. I have a fine point nail polish pen. So I actually tried that here because the white was just changing to be the color purple and blue and whatever was underneath. So I thought, oh, let's throw this on top. I had it out, see what it does. So, I mean, it's not bad. And let's see. What else did I do? Oh, I might have tried it over top of the Signo here too, on the white of the gems. And for all of this beautiful shininess, I used the Oahu glitter markers. And I outlined the Triton and the cuffs and crown. And then I colored the purple gems with the glitter markers as well. And I'm happy with how it turned out. I would have hoped, I hoped that the glitter marker would have covered the black a little bit more than it did, but I think it still turned out pretty good. And actually, I might do more with this page. You could see around the Triton, I really didn't know what to do with that, and I didn't do a background. So there's a chance I may come back to this one, but I'm showing it to you because I might be done with it. So we'll see. Does anyone have any ideas? Comment below. What do I do with this part? I'm kind of stuck with that. So if you have an idea, let me know in the comments what you think I could do with that. Anyways, that is Cute and Magical Coloring Book by Alexandra Frenzies. And that brings us to the end of my coloring pages for December 2024. I almost said 2023. I really enjoyed sharing my work with you. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please feel free to like and subscribe and leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.